Today we are going to talk about the principle of art known as balance. Balance is one technique that is used to create compositions in art. And the purpose of using balance is to make sure that you create an artwork where no one part of the work overpowers another part. And when we talk about overpowering, what we're talking about is the visual weight of the elements of that artwork. So our goal when working with balance is so that no one part of that work overpowers another. Now there's actually 3 different types of balance: formal, informal, and radial. And once you understand these 3 types of balance, you may realize that you have learned these, at least 2 of them, by another name. So when we learn about formal balance, we discover that this is really when 2 halves of an artwork mirror each other. If you think about a human face and you draw a line down the middle, we know that the eyes are equal distance from one another, the nose and the mouth would be on that center line, and that line is known as the line of symmetry. Symmetry is essentially a synonym for formal balance. So something that has symmetry or is symmetrical has formal balance. Informal balance is also known as asymmetry or asymmetrical. With informal balance, the visual weight of the image might be equal, but it is not identical. It is not a mirror of itself. So if you look at the little diagram in the corner of the screen here, you'll see an example of asymmetrical or informal balance. The last type of balance is one in which there is a center point and each of the elements of the artwork radiate out from that central point. In this case, we could sort of draw a line down the middle of it in any direction, vertically, horizontally, diagonally, and the result is the same, that it is a mirror of itself. And we'll look at some examples here in just a moment. In this photograph of the Taj Mahal, we see an excellent example of formal balance. Not only is the architecture of the building symmetrical, but also all of the hard and soft landscaping around the building is also created in a way that is symmetrical, which, as you can see from this point of view, really draws your eye towards the front entry of the building in a kind of dramatic way, and that was done intentionally. You can see a close-up of the walls and all the detail in this photograph here. In this image, we are seeing a good example of something called near symmetry. So it's almost symmetrical, but it's not, which makes it asymmetrical or informal balance. Now, we see near symmetry because there's 3 figures. There's a central figure and one on each side. If we look in the bottom right and left-hand corners, we see a dog. Similar dogs, not the same size, not in the same exact position, but very similar. Both the figures on the right and the left are positioned facing inward towards each other. And really, the subtle difference is just that one is a boy and one is a girl, one is in a dress and one is in pants. And so other than that, it's more or less symmetrical, but because of those slight differences, we could categorize it as asymmetry or informal balance. In this next example, we're looking at an image that is dramatically different from one side to the other. Why we call this asymmetry is because even though there's nothing mirrored about it, the image just is designed in a way that no one part overpowers the other. Well, how can that be? We have this really bright, intense yellow-orange on the left side, a big, bold block of color, but it's balanced by a bold blue, high-intensity blue on the right side. We also see blues diagonally used, so one in the upper right-hand corner, large block of blue, and then we see that same blue down in the left-hand corner. We see the same thing happening with the yellow and the yellow-orange color, diagonally happening upper left and lower right. In this way, the artist has created visual balance. So no one part overpowers the other. There's plenty to look at, and your eye doesn't want to just stop in one particular position. In this last example, we're looking at radial balance. So again, we have a center point. All the design elements radiate out from the middle like the spokes on a wheel. And whether we divided it in half through the central point in a vertical way or in a horizontal way or in a diagonal way, the result is the same. It is a mirror image of itself. So this is an excellent example of radial balance. I hope these examples help you get a little better grasp on the concept of balance and the 3 different types of balance. And make sure that you add some notes in your packet to help you